About a month ago, one of you said on one of our videos, man, the low effort in their set dressing really is doing well in sending them. So we put an effort in. And with this set, everyone's screaming, ban Nadu! Well, I have a response for you. Just play more removal.
Nah, dude.
This is casual compliance.
I was not ready for that.
That's, you know, everyone's saying ban Nadu, ban Nadu. I'm saying ban Nadu,
Yeah.
which is wild, but just play more removal.
We worked so hard to not have these mics clip.
Yeah.
And you've just fucked that all up.
Hey, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah,
You're the editor.
Yeah.
But here on Casual Compliance, we're going to talk to you about why play more removal might not be the response for ban Nadu. What we're going to do, we're going to look at the cards on the ban list through a little spin wheel. It's going to pick one. We're going to talk about the card. We're going to talk about our impression of why it should or shouldn't be banned. Then we're going to go away, do a little bit of research. I'm going to research why the card should be unbanned, which all cards should be, except Tolarian Academy. And Chilibin is going to be right, and it should stay banned probably, because he's way better at researching than I am.
Also, the people that ban these cards are pretty fucking smart, it turns out.
Exactly.
And they understand this game better than a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Gramps.
I'm Chilibin.
And this is Casual Compliance. You can always find us over at X at Compliance Show.
Yep.
YouTube at Casual Compliance, TikTok at Casual Compliance. Patreon, we're just not amazingly done, but I'll get there. I'm going away for a little bit. While I go away, I'm going to heavily work on it. And that is just patreon.com/Casual Compliance. You're going to see a lot more in there soon. And you can always email us, casualcompliance@gmail.com. Please email us. Or, you know, don't. That's up to you.
I take it from that we don't have any emails.
No, not since the one telling us about that mistake we made on one of our episodes.
Sick.
Thanks, Trent. Let's get to the wheel, I guess.
Yeah. No time like the present.
No time like the present. I've added Nadu to the wheel preemptively because by the time this episode comes out, it might be banned.
Yeah.
No. Did you actually?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of chat, and like I've seen a lot of Equip Zero talk.
Yeah. Shuko.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Here's one I don't know. It's Sway of the Stars.
I've never heard of this.
So Sway of the Stars. I like how the Google Sheet's up there as well.
We're not reading this yet.
No, because I just tell you what the card is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and this is how I usually tell you what the card is.
Oh, okay.
We're back!
Hell yeah.
I wasn't prepared because I was too excited to do this episode and scream ban Nadu. So, Sway of the Stars has been picked.
Uh-huh.
Sway of the Stars is a 10 cost, blue, and 8.
Goodness me.
Sorcery. It's a rare.
Uh-huh.
That states, each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she owns into his or her library. Mm-hmm. Then draw 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7.
Okay.
Oh, I think I might have one here. I'm going to put this up here.
It's interesting that this is banned, because like I've seen cards that do similar things.
Exactly. The Wheel of Fate.
What is it? Is it Master of Cruelties? You take damage, it sets your life total to 1.
Yep.
There's a bunch of cards that do set life to X, or essentially like put everything into your library and get new cards.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is a lot of those effects packed onto one card.
Yeah, but it's a 10 cost card.
Sure, but it's 8 generic, so you can get cost reduction on instants and sorceries pretty easily.
It doesn't have affinity.
No. There's probably a way to give it affinity.
There's probably a way to give it. Let's be honest, there's probably a way to give it improvise as well.
Yep.
And omniscience.
What is it? Is it inspiring statuary? Isn't that non-artifact spells get?
I think it's artifact spells get improvised, which isn't instant and sorceries.
No.
Look.
Okay.
Straight out the gate, Sway of the Stars. Off the ban list. Like, there are so many cards that do what this card does. Not with the specific life change thing, but that is done as well. Like, Resplendent Angel, when you have a certain amount of life, ups itself as a creature, so in Commander straight away it does, like, it's a +5/+5 on turn 2.
Oh, dude. What you want is Serra Ascendant. It's a single white for a 1/1 monk.
Yeah.
Flying monk.
Yeah.
Right? But if you have more than 20 or 30 life.
Yeah.
I should know this, I play it a lot. it gets lifelink and becomes a 6/6.
Yes.
For 1.
That's what I mean. It's like there are worse cards than
No,
this.
Sarah Ascendant is my friend.
Ah,
Don't talk about it that way.
he's got buy-in at this point. Oh yeah, no, this is off the list, man. I don't see why this is banned.
I think...
And I'm wrong every time. But
So I think, yeah, this is where, like, the more we do the show, the more we are, like, honing in on being able to predict the ban reason, I think.
yeah.
Previous cards we talked about low investment in the color. This is just 2 blue.
Yeah.
And then 8 of whatever.
Yeah.
Single Soul Ring will get you 2 of those.
Yeah, you know, if we're thinking Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and the rest, then you're in CEDH territory.
Urza lands.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're still in CEDH territory.
Not really.
As someone who plays Tron lands in most of his decks.
I've got them in a colorless deck because I thought that was the best place for
Broken.
them. Yeah. But yeah, I think the thing I'm intrigued by is just how many things this does. It's not shuffle everything and get 7 cards, that's it. It's also setting everybody's life total, which...
It's basically reset the
yeah.
game.
I mean, it is,
And then, did it say Battlefield?
It was all permanents, right?
Yeah. So it's basically reset the entire game.
Libraries, graveyards, and permanents.
Yep.
Exile is still exiled.
Yep.
So it is, yeah, largely a game reset, but that game is going to be
Shorter.
very short. But by the time you're able to pay 10, you've already sunk a ton of time into that game.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty frustrating.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound like you've sunk a lot of time in that game because you've been telling me how easy it is to play this.
Oh, yeah, so I'm looking at... Okay, what I'm looking for is both ways to abuse a card like this and make it happen quickly, but also, like, if you hit it on curve, what's that experience like?
Yeah. And imagine as well, like, someone's overloaded a Cyclonic Rift already and then they fucking play this bullshit and you're like, ah!
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah.
This would be my response to a overloaded Cyclonic Rift. It's just, fuck it,
yeah,
we're starting the game again.
I think in that scenario, that's really funny and I love it.
Yeah. It's just as bad as Shahrazad. It's just play another game.
No, Shahrazad is too confusing, dude. Yeah, interesting.
I'm actually really excited to see what you come up with this because I genuinely can't understand why this is bad.
Yeah. I'll admit, I'm struggling.
Yeah?
I'm struggling to... Like I said, there's a few things that are sort of like maybe part of it, but nothing is immediately jumping out and saying like, this one thing is what it is. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe it is just too much.
Yep.
Too many
Let's
things.
see how the Staff of Domination affects this card. Let's go research.
Yeah. Fear not, friends. That Nadu won't hurt you, and neither will I. It's Chilibin here again with another syntax segment. This time, thought we'd take a look at Nadu and the way it was, let's say, enabled at Modern Horizons 3 Pro Tour through very cheap equipment and zero cost effects and abilities, all that sort of thing. So let's jump into Scryfall. As a reminder, Nadu, Winged Wisdom, for 1, a green and a blue, is a 3/4 legendary bird wizard with flying that says creatures you control have, quote, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield, otherwise put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. So everything after the word have, i.e. everything within those quote marks, is applied to every creature you have on the battlefield. That is why Nadu is so crazy, because that ability on its own is pretty valuable. You can get a lot out of that, but the fact that you can do that to every creature is why everybody went crazy for this silly bird. The common piece that it is paired with, at least at the Pro Tour, was an equipment called Shuko. Shuko is a 1-cost equipment. The actual effect of this equipment was largely irrelevant. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. The main thing here is the equip 0, meaning that you can target all of those creatures that you've put Nadu's ability onto. And the fact that it is a 1-cost equipment means that it is easy to find through something like an Urza's Saga. The other common Nadu combo piece was a white creature called Outrider N Core. 2 and a white for a 2/2 Core Rebel Knight. Ignore flanking, it doesn't matter. The main thing here is the 0-cost ability, activated ability. The next 1 damage that would be dealt to this creature This turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. So for 0 mana at instant speed, you can target a creature. Again, you've put Nadu's ability on it, you want to target it, this is a really good way to do that. So I thought what we might do is take a look at Nadu within the context of Commander. Commander has a much bigger card pool than a format like Modern, so let's see how silly this dumb bird can really get. Last time, I introduced the concept of regular expressions. We're going to use those again here, with you can see that with the slashes at the beginning and end of the text that we're searching for. Because normally when we're searching Oracle text, we want to wrap that up in quote marks. In this case, we want to actually look for a quote mark within our search. So we want to begin the search by saying creatures you control have, and then right after that, we want to begin with a quote mark to show that we're going to do a Nadu-like effect where we put a massive bit of text onto a creature. What that gives us is 33 Commander legal cards. Obviously we're looking at, every color. It's not just limited to Simic that Nadu would be if it were your commander and you're a psycho. One thing you might have noticed is we've got a few sliver creature cards in the results here. If you're not familiar with slivers, what they do is apply abilities onto all of your slivers, and in some older printings, all slivers on the battlefield. We're going to ignore those here because they're, if you want to make Nadu a sliver and run slivers, you can do that. That's disgusting, but go off, I guess. So what we're going to do to rule those out is put a minus sign right before hitting T for type, and then putting sliver after the colon. So what we're saying with this search is ignore specifically sliver type cards. And we put that on the end of the search we did previously, and that looks like this. And that quite literally removed a third of the results. You'll notice classic cards like Cryptolith Rite that turns all of your creatures into mana dorks of any color. You'll see these insane lands from legends that give, for example, Cathedral of Serra gives all of your white legends banding with other legends. That's silly. But just like that, we've found a bunch of cards that operate in a similar way to Nadu, where they're putting an ability onto every creature you control. Now the other example we mentioned is Outrider Encore, where you've got a 0 cost activated ability, and you can use that to target creatures you control. So to search for something like that, we're going to use this syntax, which is going to be new for us this time. So the curly brackets there, anything within that is a mana cost. This is just how it's written in the comprehensive Magic the Gathering rules, so you can go into that and look for the notation for what to use here, but we're putting a 0 inside those curly brackets, which says for 0 and then a colon. So any Magic card that has the 0 generic mana symbol followed by a colon to indicate an activated ability, this is going to return those. So looking for all Commander legal cards with a 0 cost activated ability, we've got 43 cards, not heaps, but scrolling through them you will notice obviously Outrider Encore, but you'll also notice a bunch of other Encore creatures, and they all have that same 0 cost activated ability that targets a creature. So if you want to get silly with Nadu and you happen to be running green, blue and white, you've got a bunch of extra options there. Now obviously the other way that Nadu got silly was with equipment cards that have an equip 0 cost. So the way that we're going to search for that is similar to the last one. We're going to put the 0 inside these curly brackets, but we're obviously going to put the word equip before it, so that we're searching for anything that says equip and then the 0 generic mana symbol. And Commander legal cards with an equip 0 gives us this little set of 7. Obviously we've got Shuko there, everyone's favorite. Lightning Greaves is an equip 0. And you've got Grafted Wargear, but it's a 3 cost, so Shuko really is one of the best options to make Nadu go bonkers. You've got Leather Armor there, which is a 1 cost, equip 0, but activate only once each turn. The other interesting one, of course, is Pure Steel Paladin, which says equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. So if you, again, green, blue and white to get Outrider Encore and all the other Encore monsters in there, you could run Pure Steel Paladin and just any equipment, and all of a sudden you've got a bunch of redundancy to make Nadu go off. And that's how to make Nadu stupid in Commander. Hopefully you don't do this, because then no one will want to play with you. I've put Nadu in one deck but it's there because it kind of actually works with what that deck does. It's not the commander, I will never do that, but it is a bit of fun. Anyway, back to the episode.
That was a fun research time. I just got to watch him research because I'm set on this one also being an L for me. But every episode's going to be.
I can't wait to see what you found.
Well, honestly, I think it could be unbanned. I really do. So, recap. Sway of the Stars. 8 generic, blue. A sorcery, rare from, I think it's Legends of Kamigawa or Kamigawa Flat. Betrayers of Kamigawa. Printed February 2004. That states each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents they own into their library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. So it's a full stop, so, different functions. Yep. As per the RC, everyone's favourite rules committee, casting Sway of the Stars has the effect of completely negating the game that was in progress before its resolution. Sway adds time to the game and takes away action. You might as well shuffle up and play a new game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
That's all it says.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that is the outcome of putting all those effects on a single card.
Is it just, it extends the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my immediate thoughts
Yeah.
because might be easier for you to respond to them. 2021, when my boy Golos was banned,
Yeah.
Worldfire was unbanned.
Right.
Worldfire is a red card, and it's unusual that I have this in front of me, but I want to get these cards right.
Yeah.
Worldfire is 6 and 3 red, so a 9 cost card, 1 cheaper than Sway of the Stars. That says exile all permanents.
Yep.
Exile all cards from all hands and graveyards.
Yep.
Each player's life total becomes 1.
Yes.
That was unbanned.
Yeah.
That's Sway of the Stars, but with...
Hang on. What are you exiling again? All permanents?
All permanents.
Okay.
All cards from all hands and graveyards.
Right.
So the same.
So it's basically everyone's on 1 life and you are top decking to get the win.
Exactly. And I think that's what the difference... I'm trying to put myself in the extending the game time. I think that's what the rules committee is going for, is trying to defeat 21 life collectively versus trying to defeat 3 life collectively.
Well, the difference too with Sway of the Stars is everybody gets a hand of 7.
Yes.
Whereas this is like, no one is in a good spot, but it's still going to be over fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sway of the Stars, you can still see that dragging out as everybody's trying to like get 1 land down, and you've already spent all of your early curve cards probably by that point.
Also, Sway, like Worldfire was basically saying pay 9 mana and then pray for a top deck.
Yeah.
Whereas Sway of the Stars is saying pay 16 mana and then
16?
draw.
10.
No, 16, because then draw and you restart the game with 6 mana floating.
Sure.
Yeah. You're drawing 7 cards.
Oh, yeah.
So you basically have land advantage from the start.
Okay.
So there's a lot more advantage with Sway of the Stars. But I keep going back to it. Overloaded Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah.
Like...
I think it's a good way to follow up that.
Game reset, basically. It's like, cool, you're overloading...
That's non-land permanents, isn't it?
It's all non-land
Cyclonic?
permanents. Yeah. But at the same time, it extends the game. Like, massively.
It does, but like by the time you're able to overload a Psych Rift, chances are you've got enough mana to play whatever you top deck.
Yeah.
Right?
Or, what about Microsynth Lattice and then Larry Nevin's Disc?
Yeah. That's not a single card.
No, yeah, you're right. And it is an overestimation. But then,
Also, Nevinriel's Disc comes in tapped, so you have to wait a turn
before
to be able
you fuck
to do
with
it.
everyone.
Yeah.
But then you got Echo of Eons. Echo of Eons was brought out in Modern Horizons 1. It's 2 blue, it's blue, and 4 generic.
Okay.
For a sorcery, mythic printing, each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. That also has a flashback cost on it. So you can do it again. Oh. That's legal.
Yeah.
But then, and the other one I want to put to is everyone's favorite set, but is also a card that was printed in Urza Saga, which we got wrong in those TikToks.
I fixed it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Remove Time Spiral from the game. So it's a sorcery.
Did I have Time Spiral up as well?
Yeah. Sorcery, blue, 4 generic.
Yep.
Rare from Urza Saga, because I don't think Mythics existed at the time. Remove Time Spiral from the game. So cast Exile.
Yep.
Each player shuffles his or her graveyard and hand into his or her library, then draw 7 cards. You untap up to 6 lands.
Yes.
So it's not the same.
How much does it cost?
It's blue, and then 4 generic.
Okay, so you're kind of playing it for free because you untap up to 6 lands?
Basically, yeah. You're getting a free cast.
Well, assuming you play lands to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand, especially the one with flashback, Echoes of Eons, why that can be legal with flashback of a reset. I know it doesn't reset, it doesn't move the life total down to 0.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that extends the game more. Because
Yeah,
like, at least getting down to 21 life across the board.
What was Eons? It was all permanents?
All permanents.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that again so I don't lie to you because I feel bad. Yep, shuffles their hand and grave. No, just their hand and graveyard. So permanents remain.
Okay.
So,
that's
kind of like a wheel instead. Yeah. Okay.
It's a wheel, but you're putting your graveyard back in, so you have.
You're basically resetting the board state, other than exiles.
Not the board state, just your hand.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The everything but the board state.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess it doesn't touch exile, which is good. But at the same time, like it's still a delay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I don't think it's going to be as much.
But basically, I'm pinning my argument on Worldfire being Worldfire was unbanned.
Yeah.
Sway of the Stars is next, baby. When they put Nadu on the list, you watch Sway of the Stars come off because there's a specific limit of cards they can have on the ban list.
Is there really?
No.
No.
It just feels like it is because Golos and Worldfire was a trade.
I mean, that is quite interesting that they did that. But yeah, the route I went was just looking at ways to make it worse.
Good. That's good.
So things like Arcane Melee, 4 generic, 1 blue for an enchantment that says instant and sorceries cost 2 less to cast. Basically looking for shit like that.
Goblin, Electromancer.
No, like Baral, Chief of Compliance, 1 less.
Yeah.
Similar kind of effect. The one that I actually quite like, and I think I have this in a deck somewhere, is Font of Magic. It's an enchantment from the Baldur's Gate set, 3 generic, 1 blue. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone.
Yeah, those are really cool ones. Those were. Oh no, I think that was in a Minotaur actually.
No, it's only been printed in Baldur's Gate.
Ah, a Minotaur had a lot of effects like that.
Yeah. So, but the reason that it's interesting in Baldur's Gate is because you had backgrounds and you are casting that from, so you double up on that potentially. So that's one that's like, it's a cost reduction, but it's an increasing cost reduction.
Incremental.
Yeah. Obviously, like Rowan, Scholar of Sparks, it's a 1 cost reduction on the Planeswalker. Then I went a slightly different way, which was, let's assume everybody's got life higher than 7.
Yeah.
Let's assume everybody's got 14 or greater life.
Yeah.
Setting their life total to 7 counts as a life loss event.
Yes, it does.
Bloodletter of Aclazot says, if an opponent would lose a life during your turn, they lose twice that much instead. So you would insta-kill everybody.
No.
Why not?
Because everything's removed, then life gets set to 7. It's a full stop.
No, you just resolve the whole spell.
Would it not go in order? Does the full stop not count? We're going to RC this. Hey, Beard, when you're watching this.
But like, that might not work exactly like that, but that's the sort of route I was looking at, is like you could use that as a way to end a game.
Yeah.
But you could do that with any life loss card. The fact that it does wipe the board maybe turns that off.
I think because it's a full stop, because it's not, because it's a full stop, I'm pretty sure it removes everything, and then it sets the life to 7.
I'm not sure that's how that works, but anyway.
We'll find out. But it's banned anyway, so there's no fucking rule.
No way we'll learn.
Well, it's actually only banned in Commander, so maybe like...
and then what I tried to do was like look at all the things that card does and try to find like cards that do 1, maybe 2 of those things, but not all of them. So things like, I mean, you mentioned Time Spiral, but Time Twister, 2 and a blue for a sorcery, shuffle your hand. Everyone shuffles their hand and graveyard into your library and then draws 7.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you put Time Twister into its owner's graveyard because it's finished resolving. Time Spiral, you did that one. Time Reversal, 3 blue. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard of their library, shuffles their graveyard and hand into the library, draws 7, exile Time Reversal.
Right, that's a fix.
Yeah.
Like the exile of this card is a fix.
One I quite like, the Great Aurora.
Are you about to show me a green card?
Yeah.
That does a blue mechanic?
Yeah. 6 generic and 3 green for a sorcery.
Wildfire.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Each player shuffles all cards from their hand and all permanents into their library, then draws that many cards.
It feels like we found a cycle. That's a lot of draw. What the fuck?
Yeah. Each player may put any number of land cards from their hand onto the battlefield, exile the Great Aurora.
That's rad.
I think I have one of these.
That's rad.
Yeah.
I want to put that in every green deck I have.
It's crazy.
That's like Hypergenesis.
Yeah.
But not as cool.
Yeah.
Imagine popping that off at the same time as Hypergenesis.
Yeah, I think
you suspend Hypergenesis, then you pop that in.
Because this is it got printed on the list at one point, and I think that's why I have it.
That's rad.
Yeah. It's so...
How much is that card worth?
What is this? 45 US cents. Yeah, it's easy. Here's one that I just think is like quite an interesting effect. Days Undoing. 2 generic, 1 blue for sorcery. There was from Magic Origins as well as the Great Aurora, but came back in Commander Masters.
Yeah.
Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. If it's your turn, end the turn.
That's a good fix, though.
Yeah.
You should put it on Sway of the Stars. Fixed.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you can do anything anyway.
Yeah. I love cards that say end the turn.
Yeah.
Because it turns off so many things.
Everything.
Like, as per the reminder...
That's an incident, yeah?
Sorcery. But you can
okay.
give sorceries flash.
Yeah.
There's
Leyline of Anticipation.
Vidalcan Orrery. But the reminder text for end the turn, exile all spells and abilities from the stack, including this card. Discard down to your maximum hand size, damage wears off, and this turn and until end of turn effects end.
Yeah. How good.
Yeah, so it's really funny to do that if people are like lining up a bunch of shit on the stack, maybe going for a storm count move, and you're like, no, get rid of it.
Grape shot.
Yeah.
Nope.
End the turn. It's like time stop. Just end the turn. That's all it does.
And split second cards the same.
Yeah. So yeah, like my initial feeling on this in that card is doing about 3 cards worth of magic is largely true.
Yeah.
And I thought that's the reason it would be banned, but no, it's just a shitty game experience.
Look, okay, when we're talking about let's talk realistically. Everyone fucking hates it when you know the game's been going for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then someone does play the Overloaded Cyclonic Rift or
a board wipe with no follow up.
Exactly, board wipe, no follow up. It's like cool. When you get an hour and a half in for a Commander game, if you are doing massive things like that delay the game, have a follow up because you want the game to end. I know it's like always fun playing with your friends, but the more Magic you play, the more fun you have.
Yeah,
and
I think it's
more
also,
games you play, the more fun you have.
Yeah, I think it can also be like kind of a respectful move to hold the board wipe in hand and not play it.
Yeah.
In those instances,
I've done it many a time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I know I'm not going to win this. I could if I board wipe now, I could win in like 10 turns. But it's 10 o'clock.
Or you keep it in hand, waiting for the follow up to get drawn.
Yeah.
I will say one time I was in a game and 2 board wipes had already happened. And I was holding one, and I was like, I did it for the bit.
Yeah.
And it went down really well. But it was like, by that point, everyone had already rebuilt, and it was just, everyone's running on fumes.
You should board wipe after the board wipe immediately. It's like someone plays Wrath of God, you're literally the next person in line. It's like, cool, Damnation. It's like, what the
Why?
There's no one on the board. It's like, yeah, I just didn't want it in my hand anymore.
Yeah.
I was going to discard it.
Just discard it.
I am holding firm on this one because if Worldfire can be unbanned, like I know you get the draw 7 and there's a benefit there, but for people that are saying you play it early game, which is a fair enough assessment, you can play it early game with all these price reductions.
Yeah.
But if you're playing it early game, you're not going to have the mana to float. You're probably going to be playing it on at 10 mana. If you're playing it late game, there are follow-up actions I think that you can do. Imagine playing this in a deck. Like you're playing an Is It deck, and you just draw a whole bunch of like damage to each spells or something like that. Everyone's drawing 7. No one's got lands, so they're going to hope they have lands. But you've got that 6 mana. But also, you put this in something like a Minotaur or something with the Senseis, and you can stack the top of your deck. And then you play something like this. So I think in a strategic way, in a strategic game with people that know what they're doing, and kind of respect that unwritten contract of, hey, this game's gonna fucking end. I don't see why that when Worldfire can be unbanned, I don't see why that one can't be.
Yeah.
I know that's usually what my intro is.
Yeah.
But like I mean this one. Like I think it can be off the list.
Yeah. I mean, let me think. Is there... I'm trying to remember what you can do with like stack shenanigans. Because this is a sorcery, right?
It's also a very expensive sorcery that can be counterspelled.
True. I'm trying to think if there's a way that you could like put this on the stack as well as an effect that lets you drop extra lands down and have them resolve in a way that...
This would resolve last. Once you put this on the stack, everything else happens.
Yeah.
So there's and you unless you're doing it in response to something, that's still gonna happen. Like Fido Titan coming back when the board is fully wiped. It's like because that's gonna happen.
Yeah, if you were able to play this at flash speed, which is not a fix at all, then you could have it resolve and then anything else would go and then you might be able to like get your lands down on your turn.
Yeah. Leyline of Anticipation. Done.
Shuffle everything, draw 7, life total 7 for everyone.
Yeah. Which puts 28 life on the board. So.
Yeah, whereas Wildfire is
4 life on the
blow it all up, everybody's on 1 with no hand.
Yeah. Which is arguably worse.
It's worse, but it's over sooner. I think that's kind of the point, right?
I get that.
Yeah.
But, have players play responsibly. This one seems like it's babysitting for idiocy.
Yeah, but...
And, that the thing is, people that will play this in a way that's like a dickhead, they'll phase themselves out of the game. We want everyone to be included. But if you're going to use this irresponsibly, you're going to use it irresponsibly, and people will make their decision about how they play with it.
Fucking 27,000 cards. You can find something else to play with.
Exactly. So, I don't think it needs to be on the list. I understand what it's doing for the culture of the game.
Yeah.
I understand, but...
I think games go long already.
Exactly.
We don't need tools that make it worse.
Yes.
Now I feel like I want to ban all board wipes. No, I don't. Sometimes you need a board wipe.
I think there's one thing that we can agree on in this episode. So, what is your final stance? Before I
This is tough.
Sum it up.
This is actually tough.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you say, Johnny?
Set everybody back to 7. 7 cards in hand. You're playing it for 10 mana, but then you've got nothing left. So it basically ends your turn.
Yeah. Unless you've got, floating. It's a late game. You could win with this. I think this is a way to win.
You could, but the way you're limping over the finish line.
Hey, I'm okay with that. If I win, I win.
I would put this in the category of I could see it coming off the list, legitimately, but I'm never playing against it.
Okay.
I will, if I find out that's in someone's deck, I'm leaving.
It's like...
Better not be. It's banned.
It's like when I put Tolarian Academy and Urtet into 291.
Yeah. To your point, this feels like a culture and philosophy ban as opposed to it being powerful like Tolarian Academy is, right? And that's essentially the reason I would steer clear of anyone playing this is because it doesn't sound like fun to me.
Yeah.
So...
But in someone's world, this is their version of fun.
Yeah.
And I think in their world where they have friends that will also find this fun, they should be allowed to play it. And that's what Rule 04 is, I guess.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Yeah, I think it can be off the list.
You know what? I think so too. I was gonna reach out for a predator handshake, but with that, it's probably not a good idea.
This is the last episode of Casual Compliance. My name's Gramps.
My name's Shelly Ben.
You can find us at Compliance Show on X, at Casual Compliance on TikTok, youtube.com/@Casual Compliance, patreon.com/Casual Compliance. We're done. That's it.
Are you good?
I'm gobsmacked. I don't know. I didn't expect you to say that. I'm wearing my chili bin socks.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, the chilies.
Oh, chilies, yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Let us know what you think. Do you think this card should be banned? Please tell us. Email us.
It doesn't sound like fun.
It doesn't sound like fun. But, each to their own.
Yeah.
Tell us. Casualcompliance@gmail.com. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.